Again, I want to echo the leadership that is present here representing our Ministry of Sport and Community Development under the leadership of the Honorable Shamfa Kojo, the Ministers of Parliament, the Permanent Secretaries, many of the different community leaders, influencers, the presence of the media, those who are contributing all the value in this program. I learned from some of the young people over the last 6 weeks, and every member under the sound of my voice here, a special good morning to you. I think one of the most important parts of this morning has happened already, and that's your ability to connect with individuals who can add value to your life. I do believe that there's mutual value here. As I always teach a lot of young people, there are 3 levels of relationship in your life. And I would advise that you probably take some notes, not because I'm speaking, but I have learned that whatever comes to you must flow through you. First we learn something, then we live something, and then we get to lead it. So in growing up, I was privileged to attend Presentation College in San Fernando. And we have had many national leaders that have come from that institution. Now, one of the things I learned from my past principal, Brother Michael, and also echoed by John C. Maxwell, one of the #1 thought leaders on leadership, is that you're going to learn laws. And you're learning it so that you can live it. A good book I read every day said, don't be hearers only, but be doers. So if I hear something, I want to move it from the inspiration of hearing to the perspiration of doing. Success, I learned, is 1% inspiration, but 99% perspiration. Can I take the things I have heard and put them into practice? And then it does not stop there. It is not just what comes to me, it's what can flow through me. As I was speaking to one of our leaders, there are generations that serve the purpose of being a conduit of the value that comes from our forefathers, the ones who have laid the foundation for this nation. It has been passed on to us, but it must not die in us. The Dead Sea is the Dead Sea because it has intake and no outflow. And so if you want your life to be alive, it must have intake and outflow. If you receive, but you do not give, the things that has been placed inside of you will die. And so the mentors at the table today, the influencers, the leaders in the community, they are there to pass on what has been passed on to them. I got up this morning just to put a few notes together. I don't want it to be limiting. Hopefully the team has it. And I just want to share with you practical. I'll share with you from my story as well. But practically, how you as an individual can develop the skill of networking. Last night, I was teaching on Instagram. If we can load that presentation, hopefully you have it. Is that knowledge is when we acquire information. Understanding is the assimilation of information, but wisdom is how you activate. Wisdom is a skill. And so what I'm going to show you, you'll take it in, but the most powerful thing about networking is the use of the knowledge. A skill is developed by repetition and practice. In the book called The Answer by John Assarath, he said that a habit is 1,000 times more powerful than a new desire. So you might get a spark of a new desire today, but what's more powerful are the habits that you practice at home. What you have to do is to take the inspiration of today and put it into practice until you get to the point of what you call unconscious competence. I don't have to think about it, and yet still I do it. What's networking? It's the action or process of interacting with others to exchange information, develop professional or social contacts. You can go to the next slide. Michelle Janae said that networking is not just about connecting people. It's about connecting people with people, which is happening already for the morning. People with ideas. Let me tell you this. Ideas is one of the most powerful things that you can get at any table today. I remember the first opportunity to meet Mr. Manning. He actually told me I only had 11 minutes. I took 7 of the 11. But in the 7 minutes, by God's grace, I was able to establish some ideas in 7 minutes that led to a 2-year relationship of constant mentorship and value from him. So there will be sharing of ideas. You can go to the next slide. And also connecting people with opportunities. As a young person, you know, they said a man is not old until regrets take the place of his dreams. So you're at a place of what I call the dawn of life. Everyone in this room is probably looking for an opportunity. And through your networking, you'll be able to discover that. Now, what are the benefits of networking? Because of the pandemic, what we have experienced, especially where we work remotely, and a lot of us have been put to work from home or, working in offices that we probably are socially distanced, networking in itself needs a little bit more effort. You have to be more strategic to now make these valuable connections that can work for your future. Networking is a necessity. Next slide. A mountain of research shows that professional networks lead to more job and business opportunities, broader and deeper knowledge, improved capacity to innovate, faster advancement, and greater status and authority. I remember when I got my first job, I was working for 5,000 TT dollars a month. Went and I got a degree in management information systems. And then I came back to this country, and you were just happy for somebody to say, you're hired. How many of you have a job right now? Show by the raise of hands. All right, so a lot of you are looking for opportunities. So I was just getting excited about somebody saying you're hired. It means that you went to school, you got the education, now you got the job, and hopefully, thank you so much, appreciate it. And now, you're on your way to what most people may say is financial freedom. Then my father said to me, Luke, give me $3,000 from your paycheck every month so I can invest it to you. 5,000 minus 3,000 is how much? 2,000. How many of you think you could live on 2,000 TT a month? From home. You don't have to get you an apartment. How many of you think you could live on 2,000 a month? We have some miracle workers over here. You could see them after for prayer. Now, for me, that was pressure. Plus, watch this. I don't know for the guys in the room, have you ever dated and you were literally broke before you got paid? No? For the women who have dated broke men, show by the raise of right hand, it's pressure. I remember coming to dinner in Port of Spain, and the girl I was dating at the time, she only ate seafood. And we got to the restaurant, Hans, and she ordered lobster. Now, when you hardly have money, watch this. When you hardly have money, you read the menu from right to left. Some of you will get this on your way home. When you have money, you start on the left to right. How many of you know what that means? Price first. It's not what we want to eat tonight, it's what we can afford. When she said lobster and I looked right, it said market price. I always remember when the waiter came to my table, she said, "So what are you having?" I said, "A glass of water, 3 slices of lemon, and 2 packs of sugar." He goes, "Honey, you're not eating?" I said, "I didn't tell you I started a fast this morning." Under pressure for $2,000 a month. But I live Springville, Claxton Bay. Grew up in a 1-room house. The floor was leapy. The walls was galvanized. The roof is galvanized. When rain fell, it filled up my house with flood. Grew up with hand-me-downs, hole in my shoes, Nobody ever used the word pour around us, but that was just the scene. I remember playing in flood water, not knowing that I shouldn't be doing that. Things break out on my skin. Morning routine is Dettol and a cotton, my mother. God bless her soul. She transitioned 2 weeks ago. But this is how I put it in my short pants, khaki pants, and blue shirt, and my mother is with Dettol there getting me ready because things would break out on my skin. The reason I'm telling you this is working for the 5,000, father taking 3,000, living on 2,000. I have to take care. He said, contribute something to your home. You also have to take care of gas. You're also contributing to church, paying tithe. You have to find yourself and eat every week. I realized I was under pressure. But I was driving home every day, and I'm talking to you about the power of relationships as it creates opportunity. I pass in this big yard of just scrap iron every day. I say, $2,400 a ton? How much is a ton? I went to prayers. I supposed to know about a ton of iron. Didn't know. Walk up in the yard, shirt and tie. People watch me and say, what is he doing here? I say, how much is a ton of old iron? Fella say, look, it have a ton on that truck there. I remember this. I was working for $5,000 a month. My father had a friend, God bless his soul, Mr. Passad, down in Siparia. I said, Mr. Passad, do you have any old iron to throw away? Remember this, I want you to write this down. Relationships are more important than accomplishments. It's not just who you know, it's who you know and who they know. And I will show you later on in this presentation, one of the things that is very important is not the cologne you wear, the brands you wear, what you drive. What people remember is how you make them feel. It is like an investment of value in somebody's life. They will remember you. Mr. Passad said, who is you? Cecil's son? Come down. That day I cleaned up 2.5 tons of iron. When I come back to Springville, Claxton Bay, it's $2,400 a ton. I'm working for 5,000 TT dollars a month. So how much I get paid that day when I drop off 2.5 tons of steel? How much I get paid? Do the math. How much? Oh gosh, I'll pull out all your calculator now. 2.5 tons, $2,400 a ton. How much I walk away with? $6 grand. I hired 2 guys from the dump, Claxton Bay dump. They work with me. I'm paying each of them $400 for the trip. Minus 8. How much I have? $5,200. I started to do some math. I say, whole month I work for $5 grand. And in 3 hours, I pick up some iron. And it's $5,200. What do you think I do after that? No, I keep the job. Never left the job. I added that. I tell you this. This is a true story. How I started my master's at Nova Southeastern in Florida is from hustling scrap iron in this country. How did it start? It's just one conversation. Being under pressure from my father, but one conversation with a man and I saw an opportunity. So I want you to understand this. It's very important. And I said to a young lady, be good at asking good questions. John C. Maxwell has a book, Great Leaders Ask Good Questions. One of the most powerful things you can be prepared with are good questions. Now, building and nurturing professional relationships also improves the quality of work and increases job satisfaction. Bob Burke said this, the successful networkers I know, the ones receiving tons of referrals and feeling truly happy about themselves, continually put the other person's need ahead of their own. What's very important for you to understand is becoming other-minded when you want to do networking. Now, where do you start? Let's get practical. Number one, who am I? You must be able to say who you are in less than 60 seconds. An elevator pitch. How many of you think you can do that? Think about it. Who you are is not what your name is, eh? Who you are goes beyond your name. Secondly, what can I do? You must know your power. potential comes from the word potent. God is omnipotent. Omni means all. Potent means power. That means he is all powerful. That's why it's called omnipotent. So potential is a little bit of God's power inside of you. Your power is given for you to do work. God does not give away power just so that you can be powerful. Your power is to do work, and your work is to accomplish a purpose. You must be very clear on what you've been gifted with. Ask the person next to you, what's your power? And wait for an answer. Thirdly, why am I here? It's a question of purpose. Let me say this to you, more than the discovery of a career. Discover why you are here. There's a book called The Purpose-Driven Life. Why in the world am I here? A lot of people are asking that question. And fourthly, where am I going? What's your personal vision? Let me say this. When I went to Youth Week yesterday and I walked around to the entrepreneurs, it was time for them to sell their product. They had to know what their product was about. They had to know the ingredients. They had to know what was the value. They had to know what made it unique. It's the same way you need to know yourself. When you network, you are selling yourself. You're sharing with others what is your value. You're taking what? A value inventory. Now, I want you to focus on these four things, and I want to give you 60 seconds to see if you could put together in your story, at your table, who you are, what's your power, what's your purpose, and what's your vision in 60 seconds. How many think you could do that? I may need some help with the mic down the floor. So here's what I want you to do. Choose one person at your table, and I'm going to give you some practice. I want you to put together these four things in 60 seconds. You get to meet somebody in the elevator. This is your story. Who am I? What's my potential or my power? What I think my purpose is, and where am I going? Are you ready? 60 seconds. Find somebody on your table. I know you all are watching me. This is time to talk, guys. It's going to be time to talk. Are you ready? Go. Starting now. See if you can put it together. Who you are, what's your power, what's your purpose, and where are you going? Tell your story. Some of you all did it in 15 seconds. You're good? Hands, you're going to help me because we had to put some of them under pressure. We had to put some of them under pressure.
So you want to go pressure or who ready? Which one?
Well, I like to start with the girls because they're usually ready before the guys.
Oh boy.
Ain't that true? Y'all ready? To go back. All right, so I'll give you all a reminder. You good? Y'all ready to go for it? Who's ready? Come on, girls, represent. Put your hands together. What's your name?
Kayla.
Kayla, put your hands together for Kayla. She's going to tell us a story. Go, Kayla.
My name is Michaela Augustine. I'm a believer of Christ. I am here. Wait, 1 second. I can interact with persons well. I am here to make a difference in this world, in my circle. Where am I going? I am going to be the next pediatric cardiologist.
Come on, guys. Put your hands together. You heard that? That was strong. It's loaded. It has the right stuff in it. This is how you sell yourself in less than 60 seconds. Come on, guys. You have to represent. Who's going to represent for the guys? I need one person.
We need one of the fellas to represent now.
Somebody with a deep voice too, eh? No, just playing.
Now the ladies are ready here. I won't lie to you all. I have about 2 ladies ready to go. So fellas, represent. Give me a table, any table. Table 14? Table 14 or table 20? Table 20. I like the bravery on this table.
All right. Good morning.
Hi, my name is Jiran. I could swim. Well, the program is like a little, how to pay?
Go for it. What is your power? What can I do? What do you believe is your power? Your gift.
So I have all kind of gifts in.
All right, you're multi-gifted. That's what you call multi. Give me two.
So I could swim and I could talk to girls.
Beautiful. What do you believe is your purpose? Your meaning?
So my purpose, I think, is to make people happy, you know.
Very good. And where are you going with your life?
So,
what's your vision?
So I want to be a deep sea diver or underwater welder. Probably a psychiatric nurse. In about 5 years, 10 years, I could be a little millionaire. Understand?
Put your hands together for him. So watch this. If you were in coaching with me, I would make you write it down and I'll make you do it over and over again till you have what you call flow. You have the parts. What you have to do is put it together so it can do what? Flow. Let me say this to all of you. I don't care what career you're going into. Communication is very important for professional development. Ask any mentor here. You don't have to use all the THs and say everything well, but you had to flow. You had to be able to sell. You have to be able to bring a sense of energy. If you look at me in my pictures when I was a child, I'm always hiding behind my mom's skirt tail. One of the first books I read was on overcoming shyness. So what you see here is not how I started. I want you all to know this. But I got exposed to a man called Zig Ziglar. Anybody knows who Zig Ziglar is? Right, somebody at the back. He was known as the #1 motivational speaker in the world. And when I sat to listen to Zig, I literally felt he took me off of my seat, empowered me with this ever energy. I said, how this man doing this thing with words? But what God was trying to do is show me a picture of my future. How to use words to empower people. So I want to say this. I have listened every day. I even have showers in my speaker. Every day I listen to 2 hours of oratory every day. That means I've done over 10,000 hours of listening to other speakers. Malcolm Gladwell said it will take you 10,000 hours of whatever you want to master. Repetition to become great at what it is. I want to hear one more young person. Let's try another young lady hands and see her flow. There's a hand. Okay. We also have one more young lady. She raised her hand, so we have to give her an opportunity as well.
So hi everyone. I am Shawnee Douglas. I'm from Tobago, well, Color Hall. So what can I do? Well, I'm a great mathematician. Usually when I was in like 4th and 5th form, I always used to excel in maths and I used to help others. So yeah, also with physics, yeah. Why am I here? To empower and improve myself so that I can have a brighter future. Where am I going? Okay, well, I always dreamt to be a professional, well, a commercial pilot, and seeing that it's a male-dominated industry, I intend to be the best female commercial pilot ever.
Come on, put your hands together for her. I like that.
All right, one more. Where's the last one?
Right.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Denisha Manning. Who am I? I am a growth-driven intellectual who is inspired to inspire. I can motivate, inspire, and quickly provide solutions for any challenge that may arise. My purpose is to learn, grow, inspire others in any way I can, whether it be through my own personality or teaching them different personalities. My vision comes from listening and providing information that can encourage persons to be their best self. I want to become a psychologist.
Excellent. Put your hands together for her. Thanks so much, Hans. Let's move ahead here. Now, become really good at telling your story because it's going to be at the very heart of networking. Now, let me give you the secret sauce. I want you to write this down. If you want to be great at building a network, it starts with you valuing people. You say, well, Luke, that goes without saying. No. I know a lot of people who are involved in some type of ministry or service, and they really don't value people. And I want to say this. If you're going to be remembered in a network, how do people feel when they interact with you? My mother had no social media. No Instagram, no Facebook, no Twitter, none of these platforms. She was not on radio. She was not on TV. Yet still, at a homegoing service, thousands of people are messaging me. Even a man from one of the correctional facilities got a message to me about my mother. I said, but how? Face to face, one-on-one. She didn't have a lot of time with people, but the time she had with people, she meant a lot. Why? It comes from your heart. Do you value people? Do you know even dogs will know if you like them or not without you even saying anything? My father said one time, my grandmother, she visits us, and she lives Davie, and she comes, and when she comes, all the dogs are following her. She's a lover of pets. And he said one time he's coming into the house and our very own dogs, he said the dog watch him so. As to give him a cut eye, as to say, you can't tell me to move from this gallery. Why? Because she loves me and she asked me to come in here. My father literally said, like he heard the dog say, I know you don't like dog. People are the same way. When you interact with people, if I go downstairs to the staff who works at Hyatt, you will believe that I probably worked here before I'm a manager. One of the things that I do, especially to people who serve me, is I treat them with a very high level of respect. Value people. Secondly, add value to people. Let me say this as a young person. You want to get the attention of a mentor? You want to get the attention of somebody who can help you go beyond where you are? Ask yourself this. What problem can I solve for that person? It's the opposite to how most people think. They think, what can that person help me to solve? Give me a hook up now. My little walk. You talk to somebody for me. Most people go to mentors for answers. Let me show you something. And I'll show you what really changed my life. One of the mentors I have in my life. It changed my income drastically. I came to serve first. He said, no, you can't pay for my dinner. He said, I'm paying for your dinner. I said, no. My father told me I must sow where I want to go. I learned that principle from my father. So I took my limited finances and I invested in the meal for the mentor. I'm giving you a practical advice. After that, he saw me differently. He said, I want you to come to another meeting with me. At that meeting, I walked with a paper for notes. The people who were accustomed being around him, they had no paper for notes. When he saw me with the paper, said, anybody has a notepad? I said, yes. Like a little teacher's pet. Somebody say, oh gosh, your brown nose, you're a teacher. Don't worry about that. You have to be strategic when you want to develop a network. Your network is your net worth. So I went there and I presented my notes. When I left that meeting, that man gave me a one-page business plan that allowed me to earn over $50,000 from college. At that time, I was studying only, not doing any work. But he gave me a business plan while I was studying to use 2 hours a day on the internet while I was in college in the States to make over $50,000 a year. Why? I went to serve. And I left the impact of increase. That's very important for you to do when you meet people. How can I add value to them? Thirdly, live good values. I remember going to pick up gravel, and the lady wrote out the bill for me, and I'm going to pay it. And she said, Quamina, your father is Cecil? Bring back that. 20% off. When I sat back down in the car, I heard God say to me, Luke, are you living in such a way that when your children go to buy gravel, they'll say, who's your father? Luke, come. 20% discount. That only happens when you live good values. The Bible actually teaches that a good name is to be wanted more over silver and gold. Fourthly, share good values. When you are around people, find a way to compliment them. That's a simple thing. I want you to practice that now in 10 seconds. Pay a compliment authentically to a person next to you. Go ahead, tell them something. That's it. Smile while you do it. You can't have a hard pan when you compliment, you know. Look, the simplest way to start talking to somebody is to compliment them. But it must be genuine and authentic. Now I'm seeing the energy in the room going up. There are smiles in the room. Do you know why? Because it's the key to networking. You will transform people if you add value to their life. Now let me say this. We're going to wrap up soon. I didn't want to make it too detailed, but I can go into some detail and really get into the skill of this, but I want you to get an overview. It was told to this man in the Holy Scriptures, his name was Jesus. You think anything good could come out of Nazareth? I grew up in Springvale, Claxton Bay. I don't know where you grew up. But Springvale is small. Our roads are not the best. We still struggle with things like flooding. I grew up seeing board houses on 4 stilts. Nobody had full breed dogs. Everybody dog is mixed up with everybody dog. Because we don't have walls and fences. The yards are open. It's a nice village. You could grow up and walk down the road and still get licks from the neighbor. And village rules, you could go and borrow salt, 2 lime. My mother say if you have any ketchup, she's trying to finish the pot. You go and ask those type of questions. I never saw cars like a Mercedes or a BMW drive through my village. It's cane up on the hill are accustomed to farmer and tractor and all these things. Nobody in my family had a degree. My father was a school teacher. Mother was unemployed. Grandfather was pretty respectable, principal. But it's not the type of place that you will say anything powerful could come out of. There were 2 boys, a twin. And they had a very abusive father. And physically abusive, verbally abusive. And that's how they started off their life. Many years after, one was living on the streets in the city, and the other one was a CEO of a major company. And so they were doing a big story on them, and they wanted to interview them. And they found the one on the street, and they said, well, listen, we know of you and your brother, we know of what you went through, but what would you say is the reason for why you are here? And he said, well, with a father like mine, who you expect me to be? They took that and they started to write it up, and they had to go to the other brother, and they go through security, and they make a big appointment, and they had to be there on time, and it's a penthouse and a big corporate building, and they get up there to interview the next brother, and they walked in and they say, well, we saw your twin brother and we see where he is in life, and well, we wanted to ask you, how could your story be so different? How you turn out like this? And he said, well, with a father like mine, how you expect me to be? And Jim Rohn said that the same wind is blowing on us all. But it is not the blowing of the wind that will determine where your destiny is. It is the setting of your sail. I don't know what is going on in your home, but for me, they said nothing good could come out from where I was. So at 14, when I made national under 14 back day, the airport was open, it had a waving gallery. The whole village come to tell me bye-bye when I go in to play cricket. And then when I got to national under 16, first trip to England, at that time we didn't have suitcase, we had grip. Anybody know what grip is? Well, they know what grip is. My parents, not only my suitcase and clothes, it wrapped with all kind of duct tape to make sure nothing come out on the belt when you reach to England. My father never went to England. I had to get pounds, and I felt proud. The whole village come to tell me bye-bye. And I realized it's not so much what they say about you. It's not so much where you come from. But it's about how big you think you are on the inside. Nobody had a degree. I got the first degree. And then I felt confident to continue the studies. I always remember being shy. Can't talk to anybody, but one day I was speaking, and online a man called Mr. Patrick Manning was looking on and called and says, I want you to come and talk to me. And for 2 years I got a mentorship relationship that absolutely transformed my life. So I don't know who I'm talking to, but I'm telling you that God will send people in your network to raise your value. So what I'm about to tell you here, these are just practical nuggets of what you have to put into practice. Number one is to build confidence in who you are. People's opinion about you do not have to become your reality. It's really about your opinion about yourself. Believe in who God has called you to be in this earth. Secondly, speak up. Everybody say speak up. Speak up. I tell my son, don't say good morning. Good morning. Say good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hi, how are you? Look them in the eyes. Let them feel your words. Make sure you leave the impression of greatness when you meet people. Target. Everybody say target. Watch this. Don't just build people around you. You must target people beyond you. What lane am I in based on my purpose? Where am I going? Watch this. And who has the results today that I want tomorrow? Target them and go and meet them. Buy their book. Buy their course. Travel. Go and connect with that energy. Not just anybody, but find somebody who can take you further than where you are today. Educate. Become a master in your subject matter. You must not know it locally, you must know it globally. Let me say this, when you live on an island, you have to be paying attention to your feed. Don't just read things locally. Read what is happening in the world in my field. Become a master at it. Educate yourself. Buy books. One of your investment every month was to buy books. And let me tell you this, I used to buy used books on Amazon. $2, $3, stay and rip pages. I don't care. I just need the information. It must be a daily habit. Add value. Wherever you go, leave people with an impression of increase. Take their energy up. Tell them something that you see in them. One of the most powerful things you can do for anybody is to believe in them. They said exposure is everything. Today, I'm very happy that the ministry spent good dollars to bring you in a good, nice environment that's classy and excellent. Put your hands together for them. Why? Because exposure is good. You might not spend your own money probably to come here, but it's good that the ministry says, let me treat them special. But let me say this, follow-up is where your fortune is. A lot of you start conversations and you don't finish it up. You send an email, you don't follow up. You contact the mentor, you didn't come back at the same time that you said you will come. A lot of opportunities drop through the cracks because people don't follow up. One of the greatest things you can do today is to collaborate. What you cannot do for yourself, partner with others. Success is what you call a team sport. It's not me, myself, and I. It's what we can do. It's how can we work together. That's very powerful. And there are young people from all over Trinidad and Tobago. Here's a very powerful secret. Make connection for others, not just for yourself. Get two people together who can work together. A young lady came to me. She said, I want to change laws concerning medical and women in this country. I got up my phone and I put her in touch with Dr. Simone Quamina, who is my cousin, who is a health coach. I said, tell Simone, I told you to contact her. Get together with somebody who's beyond you in your area. Make connection for others. 13, I told you about it, is to serve. 14, you must maintain connections, keeping them. Something I observed about Mr. Manning was that he had the birthday of many international leaders on his desk. And many times when I visited him, he would call them up on their birthday, personal. As a matter of fact, in his last days, where his hand was in a sling, he was very weak, I believe on the left side or the right side, and he was having his birthday celebration. And when I saw him standing there, I said, let me get a chair so that he can sit at the door while he welcomes his guest. When I offered the chair, he says, no. He said, I'm going to stand here until every last one of them I invited walk through my door, and I'm going to stand here to shake their hands. And I observed one of the books in his library was How to Be a Gentleman. He also sowed that book in my life. One of the ways you maintain connections is to keep adding value to people and treat them well. Lastly, Zig Ziglar said this, you can have everything in your life you want if you would just help enough other people get what they want. My name is Luke Quamina. I'm the only son of Deborah and Cecil Quamina. Deborah, who's now transitioned, but it has been a plum-pleasing pleasure to be here with you this morning, and I look forward to seeing each and every one of you at the top, not from the top, because you know what they say, the bottom is way too crowded. God bless you.